Yeah. We both did little weekend trips. Tell me about yours.
My little weekend trip was really fun. I went today. I spent all day in wine country. I got very drunk. And now I am here talking to you, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I feel weird about wine country. Like in some ways I would just prefer to buy a full bottle of wine and not have to pretend to like know anything about like how things taste different on my palate. I'm made supremely nervous by the act of like paying for a taste of something and like the person at the winery knows I don't know shit about wine and I'm just here to drink and we're engaging in this whole charade like I might buy a case and I would rather just drink and make clear that I'm drinking this bottle.
Okay, so this was nothing like that. Basically, what happened is that I went with these new friends, LOL, new friends, to like somebody's dad's sister's wife's winery thing. Unclear. All I know is that there was a lot of wine and very little food.
So you had a great time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had a great time. I barely talked to like anybody I didn't want to talk to. Nobody was like, tell me about this wine's legs or whatever. It was delightful.
Just say everything's oaky. My dear friend Aaron Bernstein once advised me to say it's a little on the oaky side, like anytime you don't have anything to say.
Whenever I am in a mood around wine people, I always say, "Oh, this would taste so great with some Sprite in it," and they get so angry.
I'm gonna file that one away.
But it's true. Sprite makes everything into a spritzer.
Oh my god. First sponsor, Sprite.
Yeah, so what did you do this weekend, Anne?
Oh man, I went to Cornwall, which is basically the Cape Cod of England. It's like the
LOL.
OG Cape Cod. I know everything has the same names as the towns in Cape Cod, only it's like the original version. It makes you realize how little imagination the Puritans had. They're like, we miss Falmouth. Let's just name something else Falmouth. We miss Truro. New Truro. Not even New Truro, just a Truro again. I mean, I was like, I get that you guys didn't really want to leave home, but like, woof. Like, come up with some new town names.
Oh my God, you're so ridiculous. So what you're telling me is that you had a delightful weekend, but in your Anne way, you have to downplay
Oh my
it.
God. Okay, I had very much a delightful weekend. It is beautiful. I ate lots of snacks. Cornwall is famous for several different food items. You know, I love regional delicacies.
Ooh, like what?
The Cornish pasty, which I want to pronounce as pasty every time I see it. It is not small discs to cover sex workers' nipples. It is. It is.
I can't even with you right now.
It is. It is, as all things in England, some kind of dough with meat in the middle. Or if you don't eat meat, cheese
Wait,
and
are you
onion.
eating meat over there without
No,
me?
no, girl. You can get a cheese and onion version.
Okay. You know, I like to be the only person that feeds you meat, so this is touchy.
I won't lie, I have slipped a few times, but
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You know, it's like, what are you gonna do when in Rome?
it's true. Rome has a lot of meat pies in it in this analogy. um, one of the friends who was on this trip is from Wales, and we were all enjoying our pasties, and he was like, "God, is there just anything better than meat with pastry wrapped around it? Isn't that just like the best thing you can imagine?" And I was like, "No, no, it is not."
As you enjoy meat wrapped in dough, I can't even handle
I mean,
you
it was
right now.
tasty.
It's cool.
But like, you know, I don't know. Like, I just like vegetables. You know me. And then
And everybody likes vegetables. It's just also okay to like meat.
no. I mean, but all of these pasty things are like well, not all vegetables, but are suspiciously absent vegetables that aren't potatoes.
Says the woman who loves bacon. I can't even handle
Okay.
your hypocrisy right
We're gonna
now.
table the convo about my meat consumption, and the other
Yes,
thing.
we'll have a special vegetarians and bacon episode coming soon. If
Oh
there
my
are
God.
any sponsors out there who want to talk to us about this, please email us.
There was actually a menu at a restaurant I was at recently that featured the bad vegetarian sandwich, which was all veg with bacon, and I thought of you.
Amazing.
But anyway, the other thing we did on this trip is we went to this massive biodome Sorry, biome. I am calling it biodome because of Pauly Shore. None of the none of the friends who were on this trip, well, that's not true. Like, one of them was familiar with biodome, but like, and I haven't seen it recently enough to make jokes. But anyway, we went to this big biome, big geodesic greenhouses in the middle of nowhere called the Eden Project. And it was super weird. It was basically like Whole Foods turned into a museum. Like, everything was like for kids, and it was about consuming food, and you had opportunities to buy things at every corner. It wasn't like it was run by scientists. I was like, oh, this is run by people who were like selling me an idea of organic food or something. But it was really cool to be in giant geodesic greenhouses. So that was my
awesome.
weekend.
I'm very happy for you. It featured all the things that you like.
Food, rocky cliffs,
geodesic domes.
Geodesic domes.
People from Wales.
All my favorite things. And meat pies.
Love a good meat pie.
I guess this means we're our own tour guides. All right, now everybody, do not feed the animals, stay together, and no flash photography. And remember, here at Biodome, we're dependent on balancing homos within the system.
Oh man, should we get to the agenda?
Yeah, let's get to the agenda. So talk to me. I'm so happy that you read this like Kanye cover story. You know that Kanye is my favorite anything in the entire world. He's the only person / concept I will never be reasonable about. And I guess for a long time, I just felt like you never shared my Kanye enthusiasm to 100. So I was really excited when you wanted to talk about this.
I mean, I think it would be wrong to say I share your Kanye enthusiasm to 100, but this GQ cover story is the most hilarious interview. Like, it's just it's like full of that stuff that you always want people to say when you interview them. I know I sent you a complete list after I read it, and I'm going back over it now, and it's pretty incredible, the quotes. Like, he actually says, he clarifies that in his wedding toast, it wasn't all about him. It was about celebrities being treated like blacks were in the 60s. Can you defend that?
Listen, I don't have to defend Kanye. Kanye is gonna Kanye. I think that... So the reason I was excited about this interview is because it's the first interview since the wedding. But to be fair, Kanye's been kind of on a tear with the quotes since this like Zane Lowe BBC interview he did last year.
Well, I've reached a point in my life where my Truman Show boat has hit the painting. And I've got to a point that Michael Jackson did not break down. I have reached the glass ceiling. As a creative person, as a celebrity. When I say that, it means I want to do product. I am a product person, not just clothing, but water bottle design, architecture, everything, that you could, think about. And I've been at it for 10 years. And I look around, I say, wait a second, there's no one around here in this space that looks like me. And if they are, they're quiet as fuck. So that means, wait a second. Now we're seriously like in a civil rights movement.
He's not crazy. He's just gifted. So everybody's going to have to get on board. But my actual favorite thing about this whole piece in GQ wasn't the interview, but was the clothes, because apparently all of them were his.
Oh my God.
He didn't need like the celebrity wardrobe. So that made me really happy. Can you just imagine like Patrick de Marchalier coming in to shoot and he's like, excuse me, I own all of these. And he's wearing like my favorite Adidas. So everything is perfect.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I know that you know which sneakers he owns and which he doesn't.
Yeah, no, I just ordered these Adidas because I have no loyalty to sneaker companies. I don't care. You make one I like, I will wear it. So Adidas, I'm all yours now for the next couple of weeks at least.
I mean, so many endorsement possibilities coming up this episode.
It's because I live in California now. The possibilities for endorsements are just endless.
You just said Adidas, I'm all yours now, and I was just like, show us that money.
Yeah. The Adidas fuck you money. Can't wait.
wrapped in lots of other kind of ridiculous things that he says, he uses this phrase, the class system of creativity, which is like certain people are sort of like more culturally renowned or whatever. But I think it's actually kind of an interesting idea, and I want like someone, I mean, it doesn't have to be Kanye, but it could be, to explore that at length.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what his whole gripe about the world that he's in is about, right? And I think that more specifically, he's talking about the fashion world and how he just hasn't been embraced there. He's done all of these internships for everyone, and all he wants is that big endorsement money for somebody to just like give him a chance so that he can be, or Donda can be this big fashion house, and it's not happening. Some of it I don't understand because the hashtag Kanye, but some of it I think is like very true. It's, like Kanye went to art school, and this is like the one, I think, like part of his career where he feels that he has to work at really hard, right? It's fashion, because it doesn't come like naturally to him like music or design, like all of the other stuff that he does, and he feels like he's not getting any respect for it.
I mean, there is a part of me listening to you describe all of that like makes me think that Kanye is like the Ivy League kid who gets tons and tons of internships and is just not good at that thing that they're trying to make happen. But because they have this resume of all these internships they could afford to do, they're like, I'm so qualified. Why won't anyone hire me? It's like maybe Kanye is just good at music. Like, and that's okay.
But, and that's the thing that, like, people who are creative, like, never want to hear, right? That they're only good at this, like, one thing. This is so hard to parse. I think that I kind of agree to him up to a certain point, because it's like he's put in the time and the effort, right? And then there was a time where at least people in the fashion industry, like, mocked him and thought that he was not serious. It's like every celebrity wants to, like, branch out into doing a shoe or doing a perfume, like things that we'll talk about later. But sometimes you are good and people just won't give you a chance because they don't take you seriously.
Yeah, but I think that, like, look, I think there are other people who have become like embraced by the fashion world who are not from that world in a traditional sense. Maybe it is this class system of creativity. I mean, I don't know enough about like, whatever is going on in Anna Wintour's head or whoever else is an important tastemaker to say. But all I'm saying is we need to leave room for the possibility that Kanye is bad at fashion. Like, that's it.
Oh my God.
Like,
I refuse to leave room for the possibility of that. But I want to give a shout out to Anna Wintour, who put him on the cover of Vogue and put Kim on the cover of Vogue. Granted, the hashtag for it was ridiculous, but that's like what he has been looking for his entire life. So that was good validation for him. I'm happy for you, Kanye.
I mean, I love that he mentioned that in this GQ interview. Like, he was like, what more do I have to do? I was on the cover of Vogue. And it's like, well, I kind of wanted to pat his knee.
And Kanye's not a reasonable person. I think that's the problem with like your whole argument. You're operating from the place of like reason. Stop it.
Are we done with Kanye? Are we ready to move? I mean, we're never done with
Yeah,
Kanye.
we're done with Kanye, but you sent me this thing about Beyonce fragrances, and tell me more.
I mean,
what's going on?
So I was perusing Beyonce's website, as you do.
Shop.beyonce.com.
I mean, yes, which I had visited before, but there's like a fragrances section. And when I clicked on it, I was like, oh my God, stealth. Like she seriously has like 5 different fragrances that she has attached her name to.
Yeah, I don't know where you've been. Beyonce's had fragrances for a while. You have to watch the commercial for Heat because it'll just blow your mind with Lols. They're so ridiculous.
Maybe we should pause and listen to the commercial for Heat. Maybe Gina can find it.
Fever on fire, fever all through the night. Fever till you sizzle. What a lovely way to burn. What a lovely way to burn. Catch the fever. What a lovely way to burn.
Beyonce Heat, the first fragrance by Beyonce.
Yeah, no. I mean, and she was part of that whole trend, like, in the aughts where every, like, lady celebrity had a perfume. The Britney Spears ones are my favorite because the ads are just even more ridiculous.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
I
Well,
will.
I mean,
I will rank Beyonce fragrances for you. Pulse and Rise are just garbage. Like, don't invest. World
Oh my
Tour
God.
is a little too fruity, and Heat, you can get away with like a hint of heat, but still garbage.
do you own Beyonce fragrances?
Obviously not. I'm a classy lady. I own classy perfumes, but every once in a while, I'm at Sephora and I will peruse. You know what I do own though is some Justin Bieber fragrances, and I don't regret them.
Wow. I'm
Taylor Swift also makes good fragrances.
how many like all of these people have multiple fragrances.
Yeah, because that's how you start. You do like Heat, and then they're like, Beyonce, what about Pulse? Beyonce, what about... Basically, a lot of times they'll coincide with world tours or, you know, like whatever merchandise garbage they have to do. And I don't think that like adult women are buying these, but I can see a lot of 12-year-olds wearing these.
It's funny, it must be like the most lucrative thing you could do, because I'm sort of like, what about the Beyonce hosiery line? Like, why does everyone have to branch out into fragrances? Like, what about things I care about?
Merchandising is basically a big scam. J-Lo used to make my favorite fragrances.
Oh my God. Wait, J-Lo no longer making fragrances?
You know, maybe she does. I just haven't been on Team J-Lo in a while, so...
Does Kanye have fragrances? He must.
No, he doesn't, but maybe he should look into it. Yeah, no. Let me read some of the, like, J-Lo fragrances to you.
Please.
Blue Glow, Deseo, Deseo for Men, Deseo Forever, Eau de Glow, Forever Glowing, Glow, Glow After Dark. What is wrong with these people? But yeah, celebrities all have perfumes now. I feel like that's like part of the course if you're like any kind of C, B, or A-lister.
Oh my God. It's funny. It's like a no-go zone for the A-list to have a fragrance.
Yeah, you know, like, the problem is that they all smell bad. They just all smell bad. It's like, if your perfume was good, like, Guerlain would make it, not Miami Glow.
I'm going to do some research. There has to be an article about, I'm going to report back next episode about how the sort of the business of making celebrity fragrances, because there's got to be like one company or something that does like a plug and play version.
Yeah, no, it totally has to be one company because they always go through like big retailers. I feel like a lot of these end up at like Kohl's, for example. And I think too that, you know how they always want to do fashion lines and then you're like, fashion's hard, but fragrance, like how easy can it be to like make a fragrance? I guarantee
smell.
It's pretty easy. Yeah, it's like plug and play smells. Hey, Anne, I went to callyourgirlfriend.com and it looks different.
Oh my God, listen, I gave us such an upgrade. I use Squarespace and now all of our shit looks so good.
I am so impressed. It's like the website looks shiny and new, and more importantly, the shop has launched.
Oh my God. Squarespace has all this commerce functionality that is making it, I won't say easy because nothing is ever easy when you are a micro business like CYG, but making it as easy as possible for us to sell stuff and look good while we do it and tell people all about our podcast.
I'm so excited about this because you essentially set up that website in 10 minutes. And
I have no special skills or abilities.
I know. And you were able to like hook up the domain, like do the redirects. I'm so proud of you. All of that with no tech abilities. So thank you, Squarespace. And
thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Anne. And you know, the other great thing is that Squarespace offers 24/7 customer support. So everybody on the customer care team is an experienced Squarespace user and they can help you with anything that you need. So why not?
If you need a personal website, if you have a podcast you're trying to promote, if you're trying to sell something online, Squarespace is a great answer for you. You can start a free trial today at squarespace.com. squarespace.com and enter code GIRLFRIEND to get 10% off your first purchase.
Squarespace, set your website apart.
Let's talk about something serious. There was this article about when women and minorities try to promote or be a friend to other women and minorities at work. It does not go well for them.
Yeah, this is crazy. So this study by, I think it was the University of Colorado at Boulder, almost went to college there. What's up, Boulder? They asked bosses and all these executives to rate the executives on their warmth and competence, overall performance, and I'm doing big quote, like scare quotes here, diversity valuing behavior.
Oh my God,
and
what is
they
that?
discover, is not shocking. Basically, diversity within companies is only seen as a positive attribute for the company and the boss if the boss is a white man. Shocker.
Wow.
The thing about it that's, that I think is most problematic, right, is that the people generally within companies who will speak up for this kind of diversity tend to be women and people of color. And now it is documented that there's no reward for them unless a white man does it. I would be happy for white men to lead all of the diversity initiatives within workplaces.
But so many of these studies, is this surprising to any woman or any person of color who's been the one person at the table saying, oh, look at the stack of applications, maybe we should try a little harder to get some applicants who aren't white guys? Anyone who's been in that room, and everyone's always already we have so many to sort through, or this is a really tough position to fill, and we've got enough great candidates here, or you know what I mean? Just hearing the sort of the casual, we don't actually need to do more diversity outreach or whatever. Just sort of that's not a helpful comment in this process is something that I've been hit with before, for sure.
I know, but the thing that was a little scary to me is that then it has these management implications for you. I'm always that person, right? Because I kind of have to be, but also because I basically lead a group for women in technology, so it's very duh aficionado magazine for me. But I never realized that, I get it that it turns people off, but seeing it documented that it could also adversely affect my career, that's something that was shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that there are studies. I'm always glad that there are studies. I remember you sending me the obituary for one of the two sociologists who did a lot of these original workplace bias studies.
We love obituaries in this family.
We really do. Maybe that should be a thing we do regularly, an obit of the week, because they are fascinating and I always read them. But just this idea that it's all in your head, or even this story, it's not surprising to anyone who's been the person at the table to say, oh, hey, maybe we should think about promoting someone who isn't white. To hear this news, but to hear it backed up with statistics, or just sort of say oh, the University of Colorado or some other accredited research university affirms my experience is actually important. I mean, I know it's kind of we're both yeah, we get it, but it's, I don't know, I guess it's good to have outside confirmation. I don't know how we change it though.
I mean, that's the whole point, right? You and I can't change it. The bosses have to change it, because that's where the actual barrier is.
The top.
I know, everything's at the top. I'm so over bosses. Everything is just the worst.
I mean, you are a boss now. I'm not a boss, but
no, I am not a boss.
You aren't?
That's the best. No, that's what's the best thing about taking my new job, is that I get to not be a boss, and I kind of love it.
Oh, man, being a boss is lots and lots of work.
Yeah, now I'm just I get to be one of those complainers. I love it.
Yes, both of us. All right, so I guess the other question is, what can you do with all of this in mind? Is there a way to continue to be that woman or that person of color who continues to bring up these issues again and again? Are you just supposed to be either silent and not speak up for something you believe in, or a martyr who never gets promoted because you do speak up? It seems those are the choices offered.
Right. I think that, man, this is really tough. I think that obviously it like depends where you work, but if you work at a real, so like if you're not a journalist, because I'm convinced that journalism is the least professional anything in the world, like don't work in journalism. But if you work at like a real office with a real HR and like actual structures to change things, I think that it basically makes you like realize that there are other structures for you to take these problems to, right? So if you don't feel comfortable like being the person in your meetings that's always the one bringing this up, maybe it's going through your HR structure and like, you know, and bringing up these kinds of challenges and saying like, what are we as a company doing to change this, as opposed to what is my boss doing to change this, or these particular people. So not making it personal, making it more systematic.
Yeah, I also feel
I'm
like
saying that and it sounds like garbage to me. So really, I think you should just burn everything down.
I mean, I was going to say the sort of like find a bro ally approach has worked for me in the past too. Like, I mean, I think that it's when we talk about this stuff, it always seems like women and people of color are the only people who care about this stuff. And it's disproportionately, it's true, it's us, but not exclusively. And sometimes like, you know, being like, oh, you know, I need my pal who is not a woman or not a person of color to be the one to really, you know, say, no, we need to interview this other person we've been talking about.
I know, but you know what's disgusting about it is that you're saying that that person gets to take credit for it. So it's, I mean, either way how you slice it, it's kind of problematic, right?
No, for sure. It's like that is definitely more in be a martyr and don't get credit camp, but like still push forward the thing that you believe in. I mean,
and I don't share men, I don't share dessert, and I don't share credit. This is so bad.
I mean, you have shared your dessert with me, but point taken. Point taken. Okay, so we have no answers, we've established.
Yeah, we have no answers. Basically, we just keep being depressed by corporate America. Corporate America, get your crap together. Cause can't handle.
We have a reader question. It is one that we can answer and has to do with the workplace. So I'm going to read it. This is a letter from listener Katie. Since listening to Call Your Girlfriend, I've read a lot of articles and learned about shine theory, which is exciting. This is, do you want to give the tagline, Amina?
Shine theory, aka I don't shine if you don't shine, is the operating principle between me and Anne's friendship. Yeah, that's about it. You can read more about it on the internet.
Yeah. And so she says, all of which has been encouraging for taking initiative in my own professional endeavors. Your advice for upcoming, I love that she calls them upcoming female professionals. Like, it's like coming soon to the theater near you, female professionals.
Coming to a theater near you, badass female professionals.
So anyway, your advice for upcoming female professionals is to directly contact women they admire and industries they want to break into. I've got my list ready to go, but I'm hesitating. What is the etiquette for emailing someone you think is the coolest person in the world to ask for their advice? Amina.
Oh man, this is so tough. I think that the most important thing, right, in all of these kinds of interactions is to be yourself. I know that you think that the person on the other side of that email is the coolest person in the world, but dang it, you're the coolest person in the world too. Be very upfront about what you want. I think that the number one mistake that people make when they need something via email to people that they admire is that they don't have a specific ask in mind, and they ramble and then it just goes all sorts of bad. I'm not very good at writing these emails. I think, Anne, you're much better than I am.
Well, one of the things I noticed about this email is that, like, shine theory, for example, isn't about, like, and this is something that I think was misunderstood when I wrote about it the first time. It's not about looking around you and saying, like, who is the most important woman doing a thing that I want to be doing, and how do I make her my friend? It's more like, look around you in your world, and rather than compete with the other awesome women who are kind of at your same stage, the other upcoming female professionals, sort of like befriending them as well. Because I think that you say women you admire, or someone you think is the coolest person in the world. And obviously lots of my peers are people I admire and think are cool. But there's something about the tone of this email that makes me think maybe you're talking about people who are far more advanced in their careers. And I think it's cool to email them. And I agree with Amina's advice that, asking a specific question and being yourself is really the best you can do. And also being patient, waiting for an answer. But I think that you should also take that as a call to sort of like look around your office or your university or wherever you're at right now and be like, okay, which of these women do I want to invest in early? Like, before they get to that, maybe the phase where everyone is recognizing that they are the coolest person in the world. Like, that's what I think is actually revolutionary and great about Shine Theory. Not like trying to kiss up or befriend. Yeah. Exactly. And then, she will be, then there's no sort of like humble ask. Like, she's like, yes, I definitely want to have a drink. They're kind of different things. And I think that, like, yes, Shine Theory encompasses all of them because, it's for people who want other people to be great. But, maybe apply it to people who aren't this far and away coolest person in the world as far as you're concerned.
Yay, good luck, listener.
Yeah, that's much better question to answer than how do you not get caught in workplace racism, sexism that we are powerless to change in the short term.
Yeah, don't worry, you're gonna get caught in all of those. I think
right, which is why you need a buddy.
How do you escape? Yeah, you're gonna
right.
need like everybody you can make.
This is why I love it when you say we tell people it's lonely at the top so they won't come up here.
Thank you for telling everybody that I'm a jerk. But yes.
I mean, all I'm saying is just get people up top with you.
I hear that.
What else is on the agenda? What's left?
So I also wanted to talk about this ridiculous New York Times trend story from this weekend. You know how I love a good New York Times trend story about how marijuana is now a welcome wedding guest at Colorado and Washington state weddings.
Because, oh my God.
Because
only Colorado and Washington state.
Yeah, no, obviously. And the whole article is so crazy, I want to read it to you. I haven't laughed this hard at a trend story. Because, like, the trends are always fake trends, and this one is a really good fake trend. But
where does it rate on a scale of diaperless babies in Brooklyn? Like, is it better than that? That's my favorite New York Times.
Man, I know. The diaperless babies in Brooklyn is the top. This is, I would say, like, 2 trends away from diaperless babies. So
great.
I'm just going to read the lead to you. Earlier this month, when Ellen Epstein arrived at the Devil's Thumb Ranch, hey, that's where Maurice got married. Never mind. Hi, Maurice, who you're probably listening, in Tabernash, Colorado. Oh, never mind. That's not where she got married. For the wedding of her friends, Lauren Measle and Bradley something, she, like the other guests, found a gift bag waiting for her in her hotel room. But rather than a guide to activities in the area or a jar of locally made honey, LOL, the canvas bag contained a roll joint, a lighter, and lip balm infused with mango butter and cannabis, along with this note. We wanted to show you some of the things we love the best.
Oh my God. Bury me with my infused cannabis lip balm.
And yeah, there's nothing that the wedding industry won't ruin. So the rest of the trend story is how guests are given baby marijuana plants and ceramic pots with their names and table assignments. Yeah, another ridiculous quote is marijuana use at weddings is out of the closet now. It's get out. And then there are marijuana concierges that'll basically work with your wedding planner to figure out what best weed you want at your wedding. There's nothing that the wedding industry won't ruin. This is just everything about it is ridiculous.
Are we gonna have someday to be oh, I remember when we had to duck behind the reception tent to get stoned at the wedding? Those were the days.
I know, the only reasonable person in this entire article is one of the bakers who's I'm not making an edible cake because that stuff is garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm thank you, sir. You're the only professional adult here. But yeah, it's can you imagine going to a wedding with somebody's parent? I'd love to get stoned more than the next person. Call Your Girlfriend endorses marijuana, but I do not want to go to your like marijuana concierge theme wedding.
Yeah, it's also so weird because it's at this point in acceptance where it's clearly not so stigmatized that it's making appearances in the New York Times style section, but it's also stigmatized enough that like people don't really know how to be good smokers. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like one of those things where you're at a wedding and you're like, like might as well just like give it a try. Like you will have like you're like a freshman at your first kegger, essentially. Like, is that the experience you want?
Yeah, no, I don't want to get stoned with some of your parents.
Exactly.
I don't want to get stoned at rehearsal dinners. Some people are just awful, like whether they're stoned or sober.
Oh my God.
Oh, the other thing in the article is about like the bud tenders. So think like sommeliers, but they work with cannabis instead of wine. Just, I can't.
Wait, is this the first time you're hearing the word budtender?
No, I didn't realize that this was like a real thing.
Oh
like
my God,
obviously I know
Amina.
that the function was real. I can't believe they had a name.
Yes.
And then also the budtenders. So people like just think boutonniere with weed. Disgusting. I can't. I just like cannot handle it's like big wedding meets big weed. I want prohibition to be back forever.
Wow. I mean, listen, the results or the consequences of sort of making something like this legal is it's going to get commodified. You know what I mean? Like in disgusting ways like this. I'm sort of like, let's hate the people who do this at their wedding. Let's not hate the beautiful drug at the center of all of it. You know what I mean?
No, this is true. This is what I'm saying. Like the wedding industrial complex, just disgusting.
But also, can you imagine
all of this to say though that if I ever get married, some people will be getting little tiny baby joints.
Right. I just keep thinking about the phenomenon of like baby boomers who haven't been stoned since the 60s when you needed to like smoke a ton. And as opposed to like the golden era we're now living in where it's like one puff is probably the same as an entire joint from the ditchweed days. And thinking about all of them in a tent together, like with infants in dresses. And I just like want to run screaming. Maybe this is where we sign off.
This is where we sign off. Where are you traveling to next?
I don't know. I don't have any plans. I have a couple of like my last big deadlines of the summer are this week, and then I'm going to be really chill in August. That's my plan.
That's so awesome.
Yep.
Well, next time I talk to you, I will either be in DC or in New York.
Oh my God. Everywhere. We need to have like a geotag for each episode, like where each of us are. Maybe we should do that. Anyway,
I know.
I'll still be in
like
London.
A digital. I got hoes in different area codes.
I mean, I got the same hoe, and she's always in different area codes. That's what's going on.
That's so true. Hey, I miss you a lot. I can't wait till we get back together.
Oh my God, so soon, like a month till we're on the same coast.
So soon, so soon, so soon. Can't wait to show you around Silicon Valley.
Oh my God, candy.
I know all the best spots.
Yes, let's fact check it against Silicon Valley, the HBO show, which you know I love.
No, we're fact checking against Dave Eggers' The Circle because my life right now is the first 100 pages.
Oh my
That's
God.
where I'm at.
Don't make me worry about you more than I already am.
I mean, you should be worried. I'm a software American now.
Okay.
I know. Okay. I love you. I love you. I'll see you on the internet, boo.
See you on the internet.
Thanks so much for listening to Call Your Girlfriend. You can find us many, many places online, namely on iTunes, where you can leave us a review. We would really appreciate that. Or on Twitter at CallYourGF. That is CallYRGF. And you can also find us on our website, callyourgirlfriend.com. Thanks so much for listening.